Hello, sunshine. Hello, hello. Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever talked about this, and I had such a brainiac idea. When it comes to having less stress, more blessed, getting more done in our day, let's talk about batching our work, okay? What causes us most frustration within building a network marketing business or really getting anything done productively is that we seem to be we're hitting the keyboard with the same headaches, the same stress, which is what to post, okay? And then we feel under the crunch and under the deadline, so then we procrastinate, and then we know we're not putting out our best works forward, right? And that's what we want to be. We want to show up with light and purpose and passion and share the goodness and joy in our life, right? If we think about this in life, we're already doing this in so many ways. We have women, and definitely mash those emojis. Tell me if this is what you're already doing. Do you have a laundry day? Okay. I have a laundry day, you know. My daughter, Chandra, she does meal prep days. She does meal prep days. I have other women that, are obviously, they do other things on the estate. Like today's the day we're always going to wash and clean the car. Today's the day that we're going to tidy up the kids' rooms. Today's the day, right? If we think about batching content or batching our work, it's kind of like making muffins. We wouldn't get all the ingredients and put them on the island and make one muffin. We would get it all together and we're going to make a dozen muffins, right? We're going to make 24 muffins. And that's what it is when it comes to actually building our content and doing it online. So when it comes to social media, the best hack that I can give you, especially right now around the holiday season, is batch. And especially if we also are in different social media platforms. I know some of my team is absolutely loving Instagram. I have other women that are just focusing on Facebook. I have other women that are just starting to dabble and explore and play into TikTok. So if we can repurpose and reuse some of what we're doing into different platforms, that is a great batching, okay? But sadly, it is really, we think about most human beings, if I scroll back and I think about my high school years, we're used to cramming on Thursday night for a Friday test, and it can leave us stressed, it can leave us feeling unfulfilled, and then we end up beating ourselves up in our head because we know that we're not working at our best ability. We're not showing up with our best efforts. And on social media, if we're creating content marketing, and that's when we're sharing valuable and relevant, consistent content that attracts and retains our natural targeted audience, that's going to build brand awareness, shares and nurtures to potential customers, that eventually you're going to have a conversation that they might be open to either shopping with you, joining your team, being an excellent referral. So we need to be able to share ways that are going to do that, okay? So I know that there's a lot of things that we can do. So there's multitasking. Our brains don't do so good, okay? How often have you started one task, then dug into the next, and all of a sudden you're doing everything only half-assed, okay? So we need to focus on certain activities with in-depth and focus. So the very first tip I can give you is giving yourself time for inspired thoughts. So that means actually stepping away from the keyboard sometimes, okay? Turning off your phone, turning off music and television. And my favorite way is to actually do mundane tasks. Doing laundry is a great one. So do mundane tasks. Grab a notebook, grab your favorite pen and keep them nearby. But do the mundane task of folding laundry, fetching the laundry, finding the laundry, where the kids have stashed it, where it got dropped on the floor, and then go do mundane tasks and just give our minds that downtime to think, to process, and then start brain dumping, okay? So chat with yourself about the inner problems of your potential clients, your potential customers, even your potential team, and let your inner mom servant heart just go wild and crazy with love and passion, and start jotting those ideas and notes down. Okay, that is some basic brain dumping. So it allows for images to come to mind, questions and topics to come to mind, interactive ideas and things that are going to influence and help and support and nurture, that are going to educate and add value to the lives of your target audience and your friends. So don't just limit yourself. Let that creativity process flow, because you don't know what ideas you're going to be able to use later on in the week. Okay, so that leads me into tip number 2. When after you've gathered different ideas and allowed that flow of the conversation to go through your head, is that ask yourself, okay, so I know I'm going to sit down now, but when do I feel my best? Have you ever actually given yourself a Kit Kat break? Given yourself a break and say, okay, when do I work best? When does my brain work the best? And give yourself that pocket of time. Instead of feeling pressure and under the gun that you got to get a post done, give yourself those intuitive questions and say, when am I at my best? When am I at my highest creative person? So you can schedule your writing, the typing on the keyboard, your journaling, the nuts and bolts of your content creation, separate from the dream building. Okay, because there's the dreaming and there's the imagination and there's the thought process, and then it actually comes down to jotting some notes down. Okay, so that's a question that we need to ask ourselves. The next thing we're going to ask ourselves, and remember, you don't need more training. Okay, you don't need another webinar. You don't need another course. You have so much in our heads and in our hearts that we just haven't let out. Okay, so as my old mentor used to say, likely if you're stuck, it's because you're procrastinating, because you're seeking perfection, and there is no such thing. And the other thing is you've got information constipation. So it's kind of like a dirty sink of dishes. You got to do some things. You got to take some dishes out of the sink, or you need to turn off the faucets and just process the information that you've got on your plate. And the best way to process it is to learn to do by doing. So do the activities, and then you have something to reflect to see how you could get better. Does that make some sense? So then it comes down to what you're going to actually do. You're going to create some little batches. And I know there was one of my girlfriends, she's been absolutely rocking it out on TikTok. And so she's doing like mini batches of content. So, little 15-second or 30-second clips. And she's got a whole bunch of little things written down in her notebook. And then she just flips through that idea, and she'll press play. And then she'll do that. And then you know what she does? She just takes off this, and then she'll put on this, and then she'll go like that, and then she'll do a whole nother TikTok. And so she'll change up her background. She's going to change up her jewelry a little bit, maybe change out your rings and try something different and stay in the zone. Because once you're in the zone, it's better to stay in that production zone. So change out your jewelry, change out whatever it takes to keep you in the flow, because you're in the flow. And you're just in the creativity, and you just absolutely rock it out. And so whether you're doing Instagram Reels, or you're doing TikToks, or even in your writing and creative, it's okay to flip up the page of your notebook, create a fresh Word document or Evernote or whatever it is, and just keep on writing out little bursts of thoughts of inspiration. And let it flow, because if you have enough of notes, you'll be able to piece the pieces together in a couple days when you want to create that Facebook post, or they're going to content and change this into a Facebook Live. Okay, so don't allow fear or procrastination to kind of step in your way. Just allow the flow to go. Okay, so like I said at the beginning, there's going to be that dreaming phase where you're picturing the bigger brainstorming of all the projects that are going on. Then you grab your pen and you start planning it out, okay? We start planning out the vision and parceling it into different schedules and different plans. So then it comes into the creation phase, and then it comes into the release phase. So there's a 4-step process, but you have to allow yourself to do it, and you have to give yourself the gift of time and quiet, whatever it is. If I'm scrolling some of my favorite Facebook networking groups, like the womanhood, the woman connection groups, the empowerment groups. If I see another post that totally inspires me, I'll actually snapshot it. I'll like capture that image on my phone, or I will grab my pen and I will write it down. So like, don't ever hesitate to repurpose and reuse other content. Obviously you'd never don't be a copycat. Recreate it, recraft it from your experiences, your experiences within the world, okay? The heart and the woman that you are. Plagiarism wasn't classy in college, still not classy now. So give yourself those gifts and allow for that. Lots of light and love, you guys. Mwah. I love you guys. Have a great night.